Well, hello there, and welcome to another Eurovision interview presented by me, Jack Lucas Caffrey, where today I'm going to be interviewing the guy who represented Slovenia twice in the Eurovision Song Contest. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Omar Naber. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for inviting me to do this interview. I'm doing pretty well, actually. Thank you.
I'm glad you are, I'm glad you are. Well, the first question I'd like to ask you today is one I ask absolutely everyone who's been a musician before, and that is, how did you get into music?
How? Probably because of my mom. She's a musician, she's a piano player and a music teacher. She has high education on both, and she was practicing piano when I was a little boy, when I was even an infant, when I was a baby, like how do you call it? I wasn't even talking back then, and I remember crawling around her legs and around the piano, and the music was coming out, and it was the same for several hours every day. So this is where I most probably got uh, influenced by, I would say, music at most. And even if I look back on what I've done and what the songs that I've made, that I've recorded, I think they're all a bit classical, much more than anything else. You know what I mean? Probably because of my mom. So I was a very little boy, yeah.
And what was your sort of like first break that you had in music? Because I believe you actually entered a few talent shows before you entered the Eurovision Song Contest.
When was my first big breakthrough? I would say it was on the national television in Slovenia, RTV SLO. Um, they had like a talent show, which I wasn't really looking forward to because I knew if you go to the talent show, you will remain one of the talents forever, and loads of people that really believed in me and knew that I was quite talented uh, in this regard, making music, singing, writing songs. They would all say, don't do it because you will be regarded as one of the talents that just apply, that have nothing, no substance to show, because all they want to do, they want to be famous, they want to be on stage, they want to sing, they want to look beautiful and be popular, but having no substance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and that's what my friends told me. Come on, Omar, you have substance, you don't need this. And I entered anyway because it was a suggestion from my record label back at the time. They were collaborating with this national TV, and they encouraged me to do this. And I said, "Okay, what the hell? Let's go, let's do it." And I obviously won. And as a prize of winning the talent show, I got the entry to the preselection for the Eurovision for my country that year in 2005. And I obviously won that one as well. And yeah, and then I went to Eurovision in 2005, and that was my big breakthrough. And it all happened very suddenly, very quickly, I would say, from December 2004 to up to May 2005. That was my big rising up. Um, my star really was brought up really quickly. I say too quickly because people wouldn't be people wasn't weren't able to follow my progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be able to follow my story and my upbringing and my development. And I was just like this guy now. Half a year ago, nobody knew who he was, and now he's representing Slovenia on Eurovision. And I got famous very quickly. And yeah, since that period, people know who I am, and since that time, I make music and I make a living with it.
Yeah, yeah. And the two big songs that you had back when you were starting to, when you got the big break and everyone knew you overnight, the two big ones that you had then was Sunny Day, that's the English version at least, and
Yeah,
also Stop, that you
yeah.
entered in Eurovision as well. So how did those two songs sort of come together?
Those are actually, for those who don't know, those are actually two very, very different songs. One is very punk rocky, and the other one is rock ballad stuff.
Hmm.
People at my record label back then suggested that I do something punk rocky as well for my next single, because you have to know my first punk rocky song was my first single ever. And the Eurovision entry song called Stop was my second single. Those were my first and second singles ever, you know?
Yeah.
And I knew I was on a spotlight, and I wanted to show as much versatility as possible. That is why I selected two very, very different songs, even though I was suggested by my the record label and a bunch of people back then to do otherwise, to do some punk rocky song as well. Um, as my second single, as my single to enter Eurovision preselection with. But I wasn't sure that was a good idea. I wanted to do something serious, something credible, something deep. So that's why I chose a rock ballad, which I still think to this day is one of my special songs, I would say. And it has a special arrangement as well, but it's very different to the first single, which was the punk rocky one. And in a very, very short time, I showed very much versatility that I had, all the versatility that I could
Yeah.
in those 2, 3 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And what was it like singing in the Eurovision with Stop in 2005 with that audience in Ukraine? I mean, it looks like I saw the video, it looked absolutely such a vibe and an energy to sing on that stage.
Yeah. You have to understand that as a young lad, when I was like 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, I had a dream, like everybody. We all have dreams, and we all try to make those dreams come true. Some people work more for it, some people work less for it, and I worked a lot for it. And I wrote so many songs, man, and I have made so many free gigs, not being paid, and I just wanted to be on stage. I just wanted to show my substance, and I met so many people within the business, recording wise, studio wise. Um, Public relations wise, and people from the media and from the newspapers and musicians and stars and stuff. I really said to myself, okay, I believe in this. I need to do this. I need to work as much as possible to make this work, to make this dream come true. And to be honest, in 2005, when I was, I think, 23 years old, when I came up on that stage, that really felt very natural to me, because this was something that I expected to happen, and I expected it of myself to make it as good as possible. And to look back right now, I would say I would have to make even more of it, of the performance itself. I could have performed even better, because I was pretty static, which
Okay.
was in a way kind of charming and fitted the song. But today I would probably do it a little differently, and I would put even more effort and energy into it. But it was good. People were satisfied, and so am I.
Do you feel that like if you added that bit more, maybe like a bit more emphasis on the performance, like moving around on the stage or whatnot, that maybe that would have helped get you into the final?
I have no idea. I wouldn't say moving around, maybe no. I would say more of a body language, maybe would. But
Right.
to look back on my performance in 2005, I would say my vocal performance wasn't perfect. It should be. It should have been. But I was very loose back then. I was 23 years old. I loved to party. I loved to go out at night. I used to smoke, and I used to drink beer and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And you get loose. You get it out of your system, and you are actually not very much prepared as much as you should be regarding how big the responsibility going on Eurovision for your country actually is. But I was 23. I just got famous. I just got popular, really
Hmm.
popular with girls, and I got so much attention and so much value from people, so much validation. And I said to myself, okay, I can drink, I can smoke, I can go out, I can party, but I should have been even a little more responsible than I was.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Another thing as well, speaking about we'll get back to the Eurovision stuff later because I know you did it again, but we'll go into some of the other sort of things that you got to do while you had this massive break because one of the big things you got to do was sing in the Disney movie Chicken Little in the Slovenian version, singing One Little Slip and All I Know. What the hell was that like singing in that movie?
Okay, I'm really impressed that you know that. I think you mentioned it to me before. You knew it. You knew it. And I was quite impressed with it because you have done your job the way the guy who interviews people from music industry should. So congratulations on that. It was good. It was nice. It was actually nothing special at the time because I had so much work to do at that time, and people from the cartoon industry just called me up and told me that they want me to sing that song, and I came there and I did it, and it was actually quite natural to me as well because um, I was even back at that time when I was 23. Of course, you are supposed to be a grown up back when you're 23, but I was there's a big child in my heart even up to this day, so I would never mind doing any of the cartoons, singing for the cartoons, doing voiceovers for the cartoons. Later in life, like 10 years after that, I did several voiceovers for the cartoons in Slovenia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I quite liked it. It was obviously never um, um, presented in Ireland or anywhere else in the world, but in Slovenia. But yeah, I was actually quite successful at it as well. But it just wasn't the line of work that I would see myself and find myself in um, in the future. It was just something that I wanted to experience with a bit.
What was the show that you actually did in that you voiced over in Slovenia?
I don't know. The main one, the big one was I think the Tony Parker and his gang, something like that. If you ever heard of this cartoon, you know who Tony Parker is, right?
Yeah, I recognize the name. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He was like a big name in NBA in basketball in the I would say 2000s in America, and they made like a this cartoon that was very popular in United States with his name because he was a big name. He was a very good and popular player, and he was very popular with the crowds and with the ladies as well. I think he was married to Eva Longoria.
Hmm.
Well, he was a big public figure, and he was a very high quality player, NBA basketball player. And they made a cartoon out of him. They made a cartoon with his name, and it was about basketball and about his gang playing the basketball and beating the bad guys at basketball games. And I did it in Slovenian version, so it was quite nice.
Nice, nice, lovely. And you also got to make three albums as well. One called Omar, appropriate, and then another one called Kareem, and then another one called No Helmet. What was the process of making those three albums like, and which was your favorite of the bunch of them?
Jack, um, well, you're asking me very difficult questions. Imagine yourself having three beautiful children and telling me which one you like or love the most. You see my point?
Yeah, yeah, figured.
You can't do that. Every one of them is very, I would say, very special. I'm actually just on the brink of doing the fourth one.
Oh, brilliant,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, and it's going to be called. If I translate it into English, it would be called Happenings, um, or the events, but not the actual events where you go to the concert. Events in my
Yeah.
life, like the
All
happenings
right.
in my life. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Okay.
And you forgot a little bit about my album, which I recorded in Serbia, and my album, which I recorded in England as well. So this will actually be my sixth album.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
yes.
Tell me more, Omar.
Well, in fairness, now the English version of is No Helmet, and the Slovenian version is Naglavo, and the Omar album, it's basically the same but in Serbian. So like they're kind of like English translations, or they're foreign language translations.
They're translations. That's right. That's true. But the lyrics are not like translated literally. It has different stories, and it has different mixes, different masters, um, different audio concepts and stuff like that. I would still say those are separate albums. Those are not translations, you know, even though the songs are the same, but they're differently mixed, they're differently approached, they're differently made. So it didn't take less time for the translations of the albums. It took the same amount of time or even more because it was the foreign language and it had to be mixed again. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I'm on the brink of I would say my sixth album now. And like I told you, it's going to be called Events, or more like happenings. The moments in my life, you know, like the little things that I cling on to, hang on to, grab onto, and make a song of it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of that. And actually even because of more because of that, because those were going to be the songs that I've made and recorded in different versions in different periods of my life of the last 6 or 7 years. You see?
Right.
Yeah, so that they're not going to be like, okay, I will sit down, I will write 10 songs, and I will record them in the studio with this drummer and this bass guitar player and this player, this producer, and this is going to be my next album. No, it's a selection of, I would say, 10 or more. No, no, not 10, 6 or 7 years, the past 6 or 7 years, and they're going to be collected. Of course, I made many, many more than just 10 songs, but those are the selected 10 songs that I've took and will make them sit on my album.
All right, I see. And kind of going back to what you were mentioning about the translations of the albums, you mentioned that they had different sort of themes lyrically. And I noticed that in some of the versions, so for example, like Stop, when I saw what it was literally translated from Slovenian to English, it was completely different to the two different English versions of Stop as well on my own and Go. So what made you sort of go and decide, you know what, I'm going to change the lyrics and have a different theme to the lyrics when you were doing the translations?
Well, it's actually, if you're an artist, you know, every day feels a little bit different than the other one. You don't have the routine, and that's the beauty of it. Um, I actually miss the routine in my life because I see my friends, they have a routine and they really like it, you know, but I'm not a routine kind of person. So every day you feel a little bit different. And if I write some song today, it would probably sound quite different if I wrote it the next day or in 2 or 3 days, or the lyrics would be kind of different and the message would be kind of different and the vibe of the song itself in whole would be something completely not expected to relation of the song that was recorded today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
It's quite hard to say. It's a very unpredictable business, and it's a very um the outcomes are very unpredictable. And to be honest, I actually like this because this is the beauty of it all. You know,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the
everything.
life of a musician and life of somebody who is an artist, I would say, um, is very unpredictable. But once you get there, there's no way back because it's so beautiful. You know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's different every single day of the week. You know, you're doing
Oh
all
yeah,
sorts of different gigs or whatnot, and doing different
yeah,
songs every day. So no, I
yeah.
absolutely get that. And a different kind of gig that you do, because you've performed on the big stage, as we've discussed earlier, but you've also busked on the London Underground. So what the hell was that like, busking on the London Undergrounds?
I don't know what you're laughing about, man, because it was very hard to get into the slots. This is not something, oh, wow, you know what I mean? It's something that you have to make to go to audition for.
All
And
right.
every year, yeah, every year there are like 7 or 8 thousand people going on audition, taking an audition to try to make it as a busker in London Undergrounds. And you should know that only 40 of the people who came to do the auditions are selected. So I was actually selected, one of the 40 people that were selected, but 7 or 8 thousand people came that year, every year. You know what I mean? So there was a very little chance to get there. And of course, I did it like an experiment. This is not something that you want to do all your life. This is not something, well, some people do. Some people do it for several years and even decades, I would say, because if you turn yourself into the spaces and corners, if you find the spaces and corners that are very much um, crowded with people, and like if you find some crossroad with people who really appreciate music more than on the other corner, and if you find the combination of that and people who not only appreciate music more and pay, but pay more than on the other corners, you can make a hell of a lot of money. You know,
Interesting.
I wasn't really picky on that one because I just wanted to do it like as an experiment. And that's why I did it, and I never really wanted to be making money with this. And I think one time I got like 120 pounds in 2 hours, which
Ooh,
is quite a good
nice.
pay.
Very good. Very good.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's nice. And I'm sure some people are very, very picky regarding the corners, regarding the hours, regarding the areas where they want to play because they are very much aware of where the money is coming from. You know, they they try different hours, they try different corners, they try different areas of the London, and they speculate and learn where to be, which slots to take, to make the best out of the 2 hours of the slot that you are able to do. So I'm sure some people would make 200 or more pounds every hour or every slot of every day. So this is quite a good money if you make like I would say 200 pounds a day, and if you do it every day, that means 6,000 pounds a month. This is not a bad pay.
No, not bad. Not bad at all.
Oh no no no.
A lot worse you could be working for.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Now let's get back now to the Eurovision, because you got to compete in it again in the same country, in Ukraine, by the way, in
Yeah.
2017 with the song On My Way. Now, how did this one come about? Because I believe and I know that this one took a long, 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 long time for you to write.
Yeah, no, it didn't really take a long time to write it. It was actually written in a few, I would even say minutes, maybe half an hour, even not less than half an hour, I'm sure. It was all the songs that I write are written very quickly, quite quickly. But the thing is, I always thought that this song was very special to me, and I really felt that it needed a proper opportunity to be released. And I showed it to several people, to several artists, to several singers, girls, boys, and everybody fell in love with it. So, wow, this is very good. This is great. Wow. And can I have it? Like, would you be able to give it to me so I can pay you the money for the song? And I always, at the last second, I said no. No, this song needs a special occasion. This song should be sang by me, because everybody who sing my songs, they sing it in a way that I'm not very 100% happy and content with. Because if you write your song, and if you consider yourself a good singer, you are the only one who know exactly how to sing it. You see my point?
Yeah.
And I said to myself, even though I it was very close to giving away the song to somebody else on several occasions, not to somebody else, but to several other musicians and singers. At the last minute, I always said no, 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 no. This song needs something else. This song needs something special. And after like 10 years, my friend from back then, from 2007, 8, 9, came to my place in 2016. And I said, hey, you want to hear some of the new songs that I've been working on lately? And I showed him 2 or 3 or 4 new songs that I've recorded in my little studio. And when he heard On My Way, I said, oh my God. Actually, yesterday he was at my place and we were recording
Huh.
something else. We remain friends. Yeah. He's the one who actually made the arrangement for the song with the orchestra and stuff.
Ah.
His name is Žiga Pirnat. Yeah, he's quite well renowned in Slovenia and in Europe. He is actually a professor now at Berkeley,
Hmm.
in yeah, yeah, in United States. So he obviously occasionally comes back to Slovenia and pays visit to some of his old friends. And back then he came to my place and he heard the song On My Way and he said, Omar, go to EMA with this song. Go to national preselection for the Eurovision with this song because you're going to win with this. I said, oh, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to do that again. I said, come on. I guarantee if we make a good arrangement, if you make a good vocal performance with it, you're going to win because this song has it all. And we applied and we were selected and we won and we went to Eurovision as well.
Gee, amazing.
He was right. He was right.
He absolutely was, absolutely. And what was it like, again, representing Slovenia in Eurovision, you know, on that stage again? And
Yeah.
as well, I also noticed in that performance as well, you actually had much more body language in that performance as well.
Yeah,
So,
but I didn't like that performance. Now that I look back at it, it wasn't. It again wasn't what I would expect of myself when I look back because I always listen to music and look at the videos of the music as someone who is a listener, not someone who is musician. I
right.
like to hear the music from the listener's point of view, not from the musician's point of view. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And today I would probably do it differently. But we always learn, it's not bad. I'm far from it. As long as this is an interview and you're asking me those things, I would say I would, again, maybe do some things differently, even though I like the performance and I do sometimes get people to tell me, oh, I loved your performance, and I accept it and I'm happy for it, even though, but everything that you do, when you look back, you would always do something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's the artist being overly critical of themselves because I've heard it with other artists before.
Yes, exactly. Jack, you are not. You are very smart.
Exactly. But no, what was it like anyway with that big audience again welcoming you back to perform in the Eurovision? What was that like?
It was actually very different, I have to say, because I was 35 years old at the time, so I knew what was coming. I knew what to expect. I knew what Ukrainian people were like because I was there 12 years prior to that. I knew what Eurovision was actually about, and I knew that I was just one of the 40 performers. You're not something special there. You do the best you can, and you cannot expect to win or to get into the final or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But you just have to do your best and make the most out of it regarding the connections and doing the gigs in your country and making some other connections somewhere else to do some gigs as well. Because of course I made some friends as well outside of Slovenia because of the Eurovision, because of the second time in Eurovision, and it actually, in a way, it gives you a credibility.
Yeah.
It gives you the longevity because not everybody is able to do Eurovision in 12 years span. It gives you the consistent, it gives you it gives to people the impression, or I would say the perception of you is this is a serious artist. He was on Eurovision in 2005 and he worked hard until 2017. He applied to Eurovision, to national pre-selection for Eurovision again, and he won again. So he still got it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? You get
Exactly.
my point.
Yeah, yeah. It shows longevity.
Yes.
Yeah. I believe you actually tried to enter Eurovision a few times. You tried one more time in 2018, a few times before On My Way. Was there any reason for that? Did you feel like, yeah, maybe I'll have another go at this again?
Um, it's actually like that. I was invited. First of all, I was invited in 2009 as a writer, and I sent them the song which I sang. So I was invited as a writer, but I sang it on Eurovision. The second time, I was again invited as a singer, and I wrote myself the song that I sang. You see my point? Yeah, I think I performed at national pre-selection for Eurovision, I think 5 times now, but I was always like invited, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the 2017 one, were you just like, did you just enter in yourself, just on your own?
Yes, and that one I entered myself. Yes. But before that, I was always invited.
So do you feel for 2017 you were kind of more dedicated, more like, yes, this means something to me. I need to get into Eurovision or
No, 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 no. I just think the song itself deserved to win. That's it.
okay.
You know what I mean? If I wasn't, if I wasn't sure that the song has big probabilities to win, I wouldn't have entered. No, because why would you bother? You know, leave space to people that want to win. You need to want to win. Otherwise, don't go to Euro. Even when you go to Eurovision, you need to want to win the Eurovision. Otherwise, go home. Sing to your children. You know what I mean? What? Do you see my point?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you aim for the absolute, the best, the first
The
place.
best that not yeah, the best that you can do. You know, it's not something that you would have to expect of yourself because, of course, Eurovision is not only about music and the quality of music. It's about many, many, many different things. You know, the variety of the components. You know, it depends on where you're from, which country you're from, and which language you sing. What's the situation in your country. It depends on your looks and depends on the fireworks and depends on the light show and depends on how you dress and depends on your message and the lyrics and the blah, 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 you know. So yeah, I would say I just felt back then that the On My Way song was this kind of song that had the capacity to win and to represent a country like Slovenia very well. That was it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Now we're
Yes.
coming close to the end of the interview now, so you kind of dabbled into that you're doing a brand new album and everything.
Yep.
When do you expect like a potential release date for that, or what would be the timeline for that to sort of come out?
I would say very quickly. If not in March, I would say it would be very, very early in April, up to the 10th of April,
Ooh,
because because of all the songs have been arranged, all the songs have been mixed and mastered, and only the details have to be done now. So the album will be out very shortly.
okay, brilliant. And probably by the time this interview comes out, the album might be out. So there you go,
Oh yeah,
brilliant,
oh yeah.
brilliant stuff. And I suppose the final one I'll ask for the Eurovision fanatics is, including myself, is would you enter Eurovision again?
I'm not sure if I'd be willing to go through it again because it's a lot of mess. It's a lot of fuss. It's a lot of nothings and a lot of running around and dealing with people that you don't have to deal with if you're not on Eurovision, you know.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. I'm not sure. Um, if it would be my way, I would go with it. If it wouldn't be the way I wanted it to go, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
The things would have to go my way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. You
The
have full
arrangement would,
control.
yeah, this is exactly what I'm saying. If the people who are in charge of Eurovision for Slovenia, if they would give me absolutely full control, I would go again.
All right, lovely stuff. Well, I suppose we'll end it there. So, Omar, thank you very much for coming on. Is there any sort of last things you'd like to say? And would you like to plug in your own social medias?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for inviting me to do your interview, to do this interview. And of course, your watchers and listeners are always welcome to um, follow me, let's say, on Instagram, where I have it like o.naber, o.naber, and you find me there. And on Facebook, I have a page that it's called OMAR NABER. Omar Naber, you are very welcome to join me there. And yeah, sure, I'll let you know when my album is out. Like I told you, most probably in very early April, up to the 10th. It must be the last date to release the album, up to the 10th of April.
All right, brilliant stuff, brilliant stuff. Well, you can find him all over there on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find me simply on my YouTube channel, Jack Lucas Caffrey. I'm also available on Instagram and Facebook, like Omar himself, where I'll be posting highlights of all the interviews I've done and probably some other shenanigans as well. So, Omar, with that, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for coming on, and yes, I'll speak to you soon.
Very welcome. Thank you very much, my friend.